It's a beautiful Thursday morning in the city of Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. My name is Dablola Ogunshaki, and the major headline of Vanguard newspaper this morning says Insecurity. Tinubu declares emergency, tells National Assembly to review laws to allow state police. DSS to deploy forest guards to flush out bandits. Approves recruitment of additional 20,000 policemen. Asks other associations to end open grazing, surrender illegal weapons. Senate review firearms law to allow responsible citizens carry guns. You can see that story on page 8 of Vanguard newspaper. On page 6, 14.8 million alleged fraud. Silver writes EFCC, 6 date for appearance. Cool. Jonathan trapped in Guinea-Bissau. Page 6 also has that story still on page 6. Let's tell Tinubu the truth on insecurity. That's coming from Senator Dixon. On page 10, Lagos will remain peaceful, Sanwo-Olu assures after Security Council meeting. Southern governors, monarchs restate a call for state police. Top banner, page 19, Nigeria's money supply grows to 119 trillion naira. 2 killed as vigilante foils a bandit attack on Kogi schools. Lastly, on Vanguard newspaper, Kaduna train attack, publisher Mamo received 50 million naira from terrorists. That's according to DSS. The Punch leading story says, abduction crisis, Tinubu declares emergency as National Assembly rejects bandit negotiation. Senate reps all talks with bandits. Criticisms mount over rising insecurity. Massive military recruitment begins. You can see that on page 2. And on page 18, ECOWAS, AU condemn military takeover in Guinea-Bissau. Brigadier General Dennis, head of the military office of the Guinea-Bissau presidency, gives a press conference at the general staff of the armed forces following the takeover of power in Guinea-Bissau on Wednesday. And there are 3 photo stories accompanying that story. You can see that inside the Punch newspaper. On page 18, alleged $14.8 million fraud. Silver asks EFCC for appearance dates. Missing items sparks a face-off between customer and Abuja Mall. You can see that on page 5. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, top right corner, Tinubu sends 3 ambassadorial nominees to Senate. You can see that story on page 7. Now let's move to the Nation. Nation major headline says emergency on security. Tinubu okays state police. National Assembly to amend law. Military police recruit more men. Those who want to test our resolve should never mistake our restraint for weakness. This administration has the courage and determination to keep the country safe and ensure our citizens live in peace. End of quote. You can see that story on page 2. And inside that, we have the nationwide security emergency declared, multiple new security measures announced, DSS to flush out bandits from forests and more. Highlights in that story. And the route to Papiri, where pupils were abducted. Federal government's 50 billion naira seed fund for Agri. You see that on page 5 and top left corner of the Nation newspaper. Senate passes resolution for citizens to own firearms. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper, $2.2 million on the undeclared cash seized at airport in 6 months. You can see that story on page 29. And the Guardian leading story says Tinubu declares emergency on insecurity, back governors and state police. You can see that story on page 6. Lawmakers declare security collapse, seek death penalty for kidnappers. DMO raises 1.03 trillion naira from T-bills as market shift to short tenor instruments. Federal government secures a fresh $500 million loan from AFDP. Dangote denies exporting of spec diesel as marketers cite quality concerns. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break for a brief analysis of some of the stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, this is Today the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki, and joining me to analyze some of the stories on the front pages this morning is Mr. Oludari Mayowa, publisher, Global Financial Digest. Good morning, Mr. Mayowa.
Good morning, Damlola. Thanks for having me today.
All right. Let's talk about the insecurity in the country. Now, the president also told the National Assembly to begin the process of reviewing the law to allow states willing to establish state police to do so. And amidst this worsening insecurity, he declared a security emergency and ordered the army and the police to recruit more personnel. What do you think about this emergency declaration? Do you think do you think this shows strength or does it show desperation from the government side?
Thank you very much. First of all, now just thinking this morning, I just want to write a report. I said, if not, the title was "If Not for Trump." You know, it's coming very late, but timely. And like I said, if not for Trump, I'm sure the Trump threat has been pushing government to rise up from their sleeping bed and do the needful. I think what has been lacking in this government is the political will to do the right thing. Not because they don't know the right thing to do, but sometimes, the president seems to be swinging between his ambition for second terms, pieces of people. Because in the instance of it, we know, everybody knows where these insurgents, the terrorists are. There are details that show where they are, who they are, who their bank, who their sponsors, who their funders, and the rest. Unfortunately, we don't have the president that has the will to balance his ambition for political retainership and the loyalty to the country. Thank God for Trump that actually breathed down on their neck to ensure that they do the right thing. So for me, maybe if this is well implemented, if it were followed through, I think we will have some level of reprieve. That's our expectation, and they probably will put at bay whatever the United States is planning to do, either invasion or in whatever way. But I think the government need to sit up and do the right thing. Like I say, it is the right decision to be taken, but it needs to be fine-tuned and do the necessary thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, one of the things recommended is that they should recruit 50,000 new security personnel. So, do you think this will actually change the situation on ground, or do you think to expand the broken system more?
First of all, I didn't expect the president to actually come openly and to disclose the details of his reform in terms of the security architecture. I'm not expecting to be to give it out in a way. I believe that each service, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the DSS, the police, should have a direction from the president and stating exactly what they want to be done, which they have to carry out internally and ensure that that we're able to curb the rising insecurity in this country. I'm not sure the president should have said all this thing out. Yeah, while we are talking about recruitment, there are other factors that are involved in recruitment. You recruit, let's say, 30,000 police officers today. Are you making provision for their clothing, their accoutrements? Are you making provision for the vehicle they will use in operation? Are you making provision for the armament? These are things these are the logistics that they need to be worked out. So that's why I don't expect the president to just be coming out and we are doing this, we are doing that. That you are giving the IG or police, the chief of army staff or chief of defense staff, this is what we want to do, and what are the things that we require to achieve this. Because you can't just do recruitment without other paraphernalia that will go with it, and these are require budgetary allocation. Do we have the fund to pump into ensuring that we buy more KK-47, we buy more clothing, that is the accoutrement for the people who are recruiting, and we buy more mobility, that's a car, the vehicle that will convey them to the scene of the battle. And this and there are other logistics, the telecommunications gadget and the rest they require. So there are things that government need to really to fine tune to ensure that they are set to do it. It's not enough to say we are recruiting. If you are recruiting, how are you empowering them to do the work? So I believe that these things should need to be fine tuned and should be allowed, needed for the technical people, the professional people to handle and to flesh out the details. But the most important thing that there must be a resolution on the part of the president that we are fighting this insecurity to the standstill. And whoever's involved, those sponsors will be exposed. And next week, those who are arrested will be prosecuted, not radicalizing and sending them back to military, sending them police and sending them to society. No. there should be a review in the policy of government concerning the security and ensure that we have the people to deal with those people who are behind them, who are big wigs in the policies, who are big wigs in the government.
So, what I mean, if they recruit people now, there's every indication that they might rush the training and also deployment of these new recruits. So, what are the biggest implication or risk when it comes to these rushed training and early recruitment?
Yeah, first of all, during the war, what happened during the war is that the president, the armed forces, they have the power to conscript people. During the Civil War, for example, there are many people who are conscripted from garages, from schools, for the rest, and give short-term training and put in the war. And I think Nigeria needs to develop a system where we have an army reserve. For example, in Israel, we look at Israel, they have people from age 18 training them, in military tactics and the rest. And we should convert our NYC into such way every Nigerian who are good for service must be trained to train in arms handling, in training in military tactics and the rest, so that they can afford the bulk of the reserve. Because if you are in war, every able-bodied men are required to help the country to win the war.
So, because are you suggesting systems, military systems like that used in some Asian countries like South Korea, where the men from 18 to 30 are trained in the military?
Yes, everybody should be able to be trained enough to be able to handle ammunition, all the things they need to do in time of danger, in time of wars, so that we have a reservoir, a reserve army that we can fall back on. And in this year, I remember I wrote a social media post last week. I was suggesting that government should recall the people those who are retired army, retired officers who are still relevant, who are still able, who are still have what to take to contribute. Government can recall them to assist in this war so that we can win the battle. We have very large number of people who are retired, who are there, you are still able, who are still probably engaging in private sector, security, consultancy, and the rest. These are people who can recall them. We need people, not only the combatants alone, we need people who can deploy their technicalities in terms of communications, in terms of technicalities, some of strategies to help to win this war. So government can do that and go all the way to ensure that everybody else must be on deck to win this war. 60 years of fighting insurgents, terrorism in this country is too long. And we should shorten it. If there is a decisiveness in the part of the government, we can end this insecurity within 6 months. What is delayed is because there are people known to government who are seen to be big wig in the politics, who influence government officials having meetings with bandits and terrorists, and they are still carrying their gun and go to their wedding ceremony to punish them. Because these people are known to government, people are known to the authority, and because probably they play one role or the other during the election and support for the ruling party. So we try to pamper them. But we have come to a point now that we either kill them or they kill us.
All right. The president, he also told the National Assembly to begin the process of reviewing the law to allow states willing to establish the state police to do so. Now, previously we've had people call for state police, and we've also had those who have been against it. And some of the things they said was that this could create more power struggles between federal and the state government.
Yesterday, I was having this conversation on his radio station yesterday. We have a discussion around this particular issue. What for me is irrelevant, either somebody's going to hijack it or not. What we need today is effective policing. For example, our police structure is very it's not suitable for the kind of security you are facing today. For example, you recruit people from all over the world, and you are posting strangers into a locality. They don't know the terrain, they don't speak their language. How could they read? How could they penetrate? How could they gather intelligence? In other claim, what do they do right? In other claim, in America, for example, for every county, they have their own police. They wear the same uniform. They have the same branding for their vehicle. But you can see this is Minnesota. This is St. Paul police. This is this police. You know what I'm saying? This is Minneapolis police. They are well labeled. and they know their limitations, they know their boundaries, and they are able to measure, they are able to contain security within their territory because they are familiar people, they are familiar faces, they know the terrain, they know those who are criminals, and they are able to nip them the boot. In the past, before the Second Republic, First Republic, part of it we have constabulary that are operating with the local council, and they are operating within that local council. We have security, we have forest guard, we have people who are managing security within the local setting because they are familiar with the terrain and they know the people. They can relate with people. They know the people who are troublesome, who are in danger, so they are able to penetrate. It is relevant that the government goes to abuse it. Once there is a law, a guideline in setting of this state police, if anybody wants to violate it, people will go to court and challenge it. That's why the law is there. So I don't think people should be afraid that we have state police. It is more expedient at this time to be able to tackle some of this issue. Otherwise, because I know of an environment, for example, they posted military officer from the north into that particular country in the southwest. And for example, that community, whenever the people have this people, the Okada people are from that part of the country, they run to the military people who came to their rescue. So it's so. But if it's for the local, for example, that are posted in those places, those people will have the nerve to come and run to somebody to come and defend them when they are wrong. So these are things that this state police will call, and this state police will address. So I don't think people should exercise any fear in this thing. Let us have a structure, watertight structure that provide the guidelines for the operations, of state police, and we to deal with other emerging events. And that's thank God for the law court. If let's say God executive want to manipulate it, then people will go to court and challenge them. That's why we're in democracy.
All right, let's talk about the withdrawal of our police from this VIP escort. So, do you think it's still practical withdrawing, escorts from the elites, political elites?
It's practical. You see, according to the political will. What do the president? Let them kidnap the escort. Let them kidnap them and take them to their camp. Then they will know what Nigerian people are. Are we in the animal farm that they can kidnap the ordinary people? They can't kidnap them. Kind of thing. Some people can be very secure in their own, their own territory. Other people, Nigerian, will go unsecure. It is not like that. That is a selfish disposition of elites towards a system that can solve our problem. We have about 370 something police force member, and we are using 100,000 of them to secure less than 1% of the population. What do they ban? For example, when you see any orderly following even a judge or whoever, you don't carry ammunition. The least problem of carry is probably a pistol. We can they probably do it too. We are seeing where they are kill the escort and carry the people away. So if you have a watertight security all over the place, nobody requires anybody to be following them to the market, to the loo, and to show status symbol that I'm arrived. I'm a very important person. I have police guard. Go to the other clime. Is he working there? You could walk to a mall, you see a senator, you see a governor of the state walking to their mall alone, shaking people and without any aura around them, so that they are not secure because the environment is fully secured. We need to ensure that our country is secure before some people are taking a privilege to have themselves be secure far above us. If they want security, they then go and hire the private people to watch over them. Government can make it work if they had the political will to but we have had this thing over again. The IG has said it over again. We are calling them, yet we are not seeing any calling because the police are making a lot of money by deploying police to watch over VIPs. They are collecting so much money. You can't have escorts without paying so much money to the police. So they are making so much money for that. So those are essential for them to control, bastardize the whole thing. And many people who are supposed to be in a poor fund are comfortable carrying somebody's bag and all over the place. But if there is a critical structure in the system, all these things will be on the thing of the past. And we have efficient policing and security in our country. Nobody will be afraid that nobody without the police escort, they will not carry them.
All right, let's move away from that and quickly talk about this. So now, the people of Guinea-Bissau, they had gone to the polls on Saturday with both current president and opposition candidate Diaz, who are front runners in their election. They declared victory. They were awaiting their final declaration of results on Thursday, when the military officers announced on the Wednesday that they were taking total control of the country, suspending its electoral process and closing its borders. And now the ECOWAS, now they've condemned this action, ECOWAS and AU. What do you think about what is currently going on in Guinea-Bissau and the condemnation coming from the ECOWAS and the African Union?
Yeah, actually, I'm not taking keen interest in what happened in that place. I'm not probably but when you look at it generally, what are the incentives for coup plotting in Africa, in our regions, sub-regions? When you look at it from Cameroon, from other parts of this West African country, you find politicians abusing the democracy, abusing the instrument of democracy. They are not allowed, rigging election by imposing themselves on the will of the people. These are they are creating incentive for dissension to be expressed through coup and overthrowing them. Nobody. For me, I don't enjoy military government because since I was born, I was being under them in and out. Experience their brutality, experience their abuse of power. But again, when our political elite fail the masses who are supposed to have elected them in that place, when they're going to leave, when corruption need to take over the entire economy and neglect the welfare of the people, there's no way we won't see people who want to agitate for military to take over. We have seen that happen in this country today. For me, I prefer to be under the democracy, where I can express my will, where I can walk around, than other military where there's no law, where they can bundle you and lock you up without any court being able to free you. So I believe that democracy is the best for us. I believe we continue to retain democracy in West Africa, in Africa, and in wherever the democracy is being practiced. But we must talk to our politicians. That means they should know that there are people who are waiting on the wings to push them out. If they continue the reckless way they are managing the resources of their country, they are managing the political system, they are managing the authority conferred on them. So, for me, that was those things that happened there. We are seeing where the sitting government want to serve the third term, the fourth time, the fifth time. We are seeing where elections are being manipulated by sitting politicians. We are seeing politicians hobnobbing with bandit terrorists so that they can use them to retain. For example, in Nigeria, we have had a situation where in some part of the north that the governors are using the banditry by the terrorists to compel the populace to vote for their parties. So they are the part of the people that they need to entrench themselves in power. So these are caused the sentiment in the society and give back to coup plotting. But I think our leaders in the ECOWAS and the African Union should step up their game and ensure that they talk their brothers and sisters in power, politicians in this, to ensure that we deliver good governance. Once there is a good governance in a country today, we see people opening out and protesting against military, tearing them. This is why we are not seeing protest, because people are already enchanted with the politicians, the way they are the money. We see somebody join politics today in 6 months, they are buying houses in the locality, they are buying cars, they are sending their girlfriends to abroad and stealing so much money. Look at what happened to under the I was reading the report of the trial of the national security advisors. The money allocated about 4.1 billion allocated for ammunition. They are used to send people to Saudi Arabia to buy cars, to do marriages, to do party, and people are dying because of the violation of the security. Yet this money are being filtered away on frivolities. These are things that give room, that give energy for dissension and coup in West Africa. So we need to help their game. We need to talk to our politicians to see that people are waiting on the wing for them.
All right, still talking about the insecurity now in Nigeria now. What underlying causes do you think must be addressed alongside the security crackdown to ensure that the emergency isn't just threatening symptoms in the country?
my counsel to the government is that number one, expose the sponsor of Boko Haram, Iswap, Lakrua, bandits, whatever. But if you look at those who are kidnapping, for example, their life is not changing with all the millions they are collecting. That means there's somebody behind the scene who is collecting the money, who is just paying them peanuts to carry out those actions. That means there are big men sitting in their palaces. Because if you see those boys, they are hungry, they look wretched with all the millions they are collecting from ransom. So expose those who are behind this, please. Secondly, government must deploy not only kinetic action, there should be deploy technology. We have drones all over the place. Why do we have Kano? And we are not deploying it to do reconnaissance on those places and to search the whole place and spread them out. We have, I know when you go to, for example, such a place in Nigeria, put your address on Google. You see a picture, mapping of your street. You see the car, you see the building. You know, why can't you do the mapping of those forests and know their location and find a way of taking it out? Why can't you have the cameras all over the place to capture the movement of people so you can need to analyze, so government should deploy technology to fight this battle. They must develop the political will to, no matter who you are, if you are involved in insecurity, if you are sponsoring terrorists, you must be taking it. Because imagine what happened, people have been talking about it. A Boko Haram swap leaders, commander, who have killed many people, was tried and gauged 20 years. Namikan was doing life replacement. So we are creating incentive for people. We say, they are repentant soldiers, repentant terrorists who have killed generals, who have killed soldiers, who have killed many people. And we say you are radicalize them and send them back to the community. And they start as a spy to the same people. So in a country, this is happened. We cannot quell the insecurity. So government must handle some of those areas. If somebody has committed a crime, no matter what, if he repented, he must pay for the sin first. And as we be reform of the system, let the police IG be appointed by the Police Service Commission, not the president, not answering to president per se. Let that be independent. In other class, for example, the army generals, the army hierarchy were automatic, they move in rank. It's not to the will and caprice of the president who can sack and who can dismiss the agenda. If there's an independent way of choosing our head of the security services, they will be comfortable to do their work without necessarily want to look back at the president looking at their prison president or not. The system we have today, if the IG is not prison the president, will remove and put somebody there. So they want to be loyal to the president. And there's something they need to do, and the president have interest. They rather cop themselves, restrain themselves from go ahead because they know he can remove them and replace them. So we must.
This is where we have to draw the curtain today. My name is Damlola Ogunshakin. Do want to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. You can also visit our website, www.vanguardngr.com. Have a lovely Thursday.